got my spats on today because it's very wet. But you know, that looks like a footprint. The heel back here, quite round, comes out. Again, who's walking around barefoot on pine cones? If you ever stepped on a pine cone barefoot, you know, the shape of the toes, square. It's not a big print. I shall measure it just in case it is a print. It is an impression. For sure it's an impression. Just get my tape measure out now. It's not big at all. I'm going to say the toes start about there probably. To the back of the heel. It's only 10.5 inches. The ball is probably about 5 inches. The heel, I'm going to say 4.5 inches. Not a big print, but it is an impression. Now I'm just having a scan. You know, this print is heading in this direction. Shall have a see now if I see any more. There's another one there. So it comes up over this tree. Pine cone is in that print. Heel. It's not a deep impression. That pine cone has been stepped on. It is pushed down further into the ground. Oh, there's the toe area there. 10.5 inches. 5-inch ball. 4.5 inch heel. It matches the print over there. There are no more prints that I can see in between those prints there. First one being there. Second one is here. See if I can get a gate size on that. I'm going to just put my phone down quickly, the camera. Got that there. So give or take a few inches. It's quite difficult with this tree in the way as I'm coming over it. That's 2.90 meters. That's a hell of a stride. Now from here, seeing a third print, which isn't so big of a stride. This is the one print. This looks like a right foot. This is the second print, heel. toes. That's measuring it. Oh, I'd come back a bit on that one. Again, probably about 10.5 inches. The stride between that and this, you know, that is a smaller stride. Possibility of that it being human is high. It's only a metre. We shall keep going. There's another impression there. This is going a different direction. We're looking at about 11 inches. It's on the side. This area is higher than this area. 5 inches heel, ball. 4.5 heel. That changes direction and goes this way. Again, it's very hard to track or see prints in this kind of terrain. Bynum Beach, sorry. There's a bit of a strange find here. It's possibly a fall. This has been snapped over. Now, I don't know if you're getting the angle on the camera. It has been bent around that tree. To give an arch. It's quite strange. There's also a huge arch there, which I'm going to go and check out in a second. Another great big arch over there, which we might go and check out. But there's something sticking out the middle of this bit of a hole, and it looks to me upside down. So we're going to have a little scan of that. If it wiggles, yeah, I can pull that out. I can twist it. So let's have a further investigation. Again, it looks like a print walking around the side of this. Oh, I've just come into an area that absolutely smells very strong of boar. Very strong. The boar smelled just like a farm pig. Large arch. The old great tit. He's chirping his head off in the background. You can always tell a great tit, they sound a bit like a swinging gate. There's a branch just sticking out the ground here. It's definitely just a branch sticking out the ground. Next to it is another one. Just stick it in the ground there. And something over there that I'm seeing that really catches the eye, which I'm going to go to. You know, we've got these two branches here stuck in the ground. 1, 2. This is bark that's been taken from a tree, and it's just resting up against these two trees. One of them has spray paint on it from a tree that would have been cut. In the middle we have this that's just resting there, another branch. Let's go inside. There's just a rest in there. This one has been laid across, and these have just been lent on the outside. We have a similar feature here at the back. This one is not in situ. Whether this is an old something that a person's made to protect themselves from the wind. It seems a bit small and not very well created for a person. It seems strange to me. I've just turned, sticking out the ground there. Looks like another pushed in branch. Actually, I'll just show you. There's the two there, 1, 2. There's that structure thing I've just filmed. I'm turning. Yeah, that is just sticking out the ground. Wind is picking up now. It's been a pretty miserable day today. We did have a little bit of sunshine earlier, and I was hoping it would stay. And it just went dreary and wet again. Let's keep heading this way. This is a great fire starter. All this pine resin. I often collect it. I always carry it about with me just in case. It makes a great glue. If you mix it with a little bit of charcoal. There's that rock just the other side of here. It's not sticking in the stump, it is resting on top. It's a very wet area, this one. I'm just seeing another stump there. You know, there are pine cones on the floor. They could definitely have fallen on top. Maybe a squirrel's been sitting there eating them. But unlike the others I found, they're not sticking into the stump. They are just on top, resting. There's another big boulder there. That's a fair size. I can look around and there's no rocks anywhere around. And the one that is, well, the two that are, haven't been there very long at all. Right, make sure, head over this way. There's 3 areas I kind of wanted to have a look about that today. This being one of them, the first area. I tried to stick to the pine forest at the moment, with it being a bit more greener. I just wanted to go up to that tree and have a look. There seems to be branches in there. Have a closer look. This branch here is you see this one, this gets me now. What I'll show you now. This gets me. This branch goes under, over, under, over, under. Now that has to have been stuck in there. It just has to have been put in there. Whether a person has put that in there, I don't know. Why would they? I don't know. But it can't have fallen underneath there. There is another branch coming off it there. You know, that could have just fallen, I suppose. Oh, I've just noticed that. So where this one is, this bigger one, there's a second one underneath, a smaller one. I'll follow that around. And that's quite strange. There's another one there. Again, it could have fallen that way, that one. It just rests on this other dead tree. So it's a big pine tree. It has fallen and snapped. It leans up into that tree. This one here, still got leaves on it. That's leaning up inside there. It's that one that gets me, that bent one. Because the rest could have fallen, but there's no way something can fall underneath a branch. I'm having a bit of a scan around if there's any prints. There's another rock there. Again, not been there too long. Strange. There's a wet patch down there I want to go check out if there's any decent prints too. It's the muddy prints I'm looking for, you see. It's the easy, well, the ones to cast, aren't they? And you get that form of the toes in them. Bit of deer there crossing through over this little bit of a stream. And I'm seeing a footprint over there. What looks like a footprint in the mud. Yes, we're in the mud here, so I can't cast that, it's just too wet. It's small. It's got a very wide toe area. I'm just going to take some measurements. It just doesn't match a boot print, and that's what I'm getting at. To some people, yes, a person's size of foot is that big. I'm not arguing that. But why? I've never seen a shoe with such a square toe, such a round heel. There's no shape to, there's no, on a human, you have such a predominant arch to our feet, and they're not like wide and 10 inches, 10 and a half. The ball is about 5 inches. And the heel, again, 4.5, maybe 5 inches. It does go inwards there a little bit. So yeah, the ball's probably about 5 inches. And I'll put my boot next to it so you can see a bit of difference. It's smaller than my footprint. But how square is that toe compared to my boot? I'll show you one of my boot prints. That's my boot print. You can clearly see round. You see the shape where my boot is pressed into the ground there, and that is far different. Far different. I'm just going to go up, see if there's any more. And that's that print there. Something has slid down this bank where it's come back up on this side. I'm casting it out because you can see how well pressed down that is there. Square toe, round heel. Ten inches, 5 inches, 4.5, maybe 5 inches heel. That's come up this direction. So it seems to have walked around this swampy bit. It's come up there. You can see where everything's fallen away and pushed down away, and it's taken another step there. Really does fascinate me. Bit of an old game trail here. There's not a public walkway or a footpath. There's no footprints coming down here. This is where boar are walking down, churning up this area here. You can see where it's all been churned up. Great place for prints with toes. So we're going to have a little look. Seeing a lot of old prints. Nothing that's fresh. And I want to go and have a look at that there. That upright. See if that's something. I'm just going to zigzag here backwards and forwards a little bit, just to see if there's anything I miss. You know, there are actual rocks here. But these are all in situ, you know, they're deep in the ground. This is how I'd expect to find a rock in the forest, in the ground. Leaf matter built up around it. Not just sitting on the leaves, you know. Just have a little see here. Because this would be the prime area for print casting. It's a bit more dry but still muddy. Some ball prints there coming in. Seeing no more signs. Humanoid prints. It's worth walking down there as well, I think. Oh yeah, it's over there. Just walking over now just to see if that's in situ or if it's been put there. By the looks of it, it's been put there. There's one more here. Let's have a little look. Okay, that is just loosely sticking it out of the ground. That's not the one I wanted to actually come and record. Oh, I'm seeing two or three about actually. There's this one. That has just been put in the ground. This thicker one. It's just been put in the ground. There was no roots to that. And there's just another one back up there. I've never found so many in 2 weeks. But it is a certain area that I'm in, and I'm in not exactly the same area as last week. This is where I walked out last week after finding those 5 uprights. Whether this is a couple of wild men that have the same, living in this area, that have this habit of putting these branches upright. It's like I said, it's really rare to find one branch sticking upright. And again, one area. There's a good few. But like I said, it is the same area that I've, well, not the same area, but near an area that I've researched last week. Actually, that area, it'd be a good probably 40-minute walk, maybe an hour's walk through the forest that way. Here's not a bad spot to just have a sit down, just take in my surroundings a little bit, which I might just do before moving on. Just have a look. Keep looking at the ground with my camera. It's because I just I'm looking for prints myself, so my camera just kind of follows where I'm looking. Probably not too interesting to watch. Bloody snipe. Whoa, that gave me the willies, that made me jump. Just snipers, I don't know if I caught that on camera. But it just shot off right from next to my feet. Yeah, I think it was a woodcock actually, not a snipe. Oh, that did make me jump a little bit. Large boar scat. Looks like a bit of an old print. It's an oldie. You can just make out impressions of a big toe. Very flat. You can see ground is really looking like when you got this flat impression. I'll try to measure it. Measurements won't be too perfect with it being an old print. If we look here, that's one of the toes, the smaller toes, back of the heel. So I'll go from the end of that big toe to the back of the heel, about 13 inches. 5.5 inch ball. Probably about a 5 inch heel. quite a nice print, but no good for casting. Bit of an open area now in the forest. Should probably head back to the path. Oh, I've just seen a deer. Don't know if the camera will pick that up. He just bolted. Roe deer. Just gonna go back to where he came up from. Well, she in this bit of a hollow. You see something move in the corner of your eye like a deer and makes you jump a little bit sometimes. Yeah, he was just down here, he was. Well, she was. Been in this hollow here. The tracks go up through there. Just heard something and it sounded a bit like a cry. Right, so after the deer, I don't know if that picked it up. I hope it did, because I like to see the odd deer about. A nice. There's two rubbing posts from the boar, or 3 rubbing posts. There's another one there. See how they've rounded it off, rubbing themselves on it. Yeah, I wanted to just have a sit down for 10 minutes before moving on to location 2 that I wanted to check out. You know, this forest is massive and this is just a set area that I've set myself for today. I could go that way for miles on end or back that way for miles on end. I'm just trying to tick off areas. There's so much to explore that very rarely in the same place twice, actually. I was gonna just sit down here, which I'm gonna do. There's an impression of a bit of a print. Well, it looks like a print there, but it's old. There's not any toe marks to it. The old fungi. Beautiful spot, beautiful area. Yeah, so I'll be back with you shortly. I'll have myself a coffee. And I'll pick you up just before the second location of the day. We shouldn't be too long away. Bit of an arch here I've just come across. Oh, 3 of them. This smaller one seems to have been tucked under those branches there. This larger one I'm going to just lift that out slightly. If you can see that goes into the ground. Pinned next to it is a rock, quite deep. Been there a while, that one. If that wasn't pinned down like that, I think that had flicked back up. Just noticed another thing we're going to get to now. Here we go. Again, I'm in the same area. There's 5. Oh, I've just noticed another thing as well. There's the 5 uprights stuck in the ground last week. I'm borderline coming back up on across them. Found 1 or 2 today, again, 3 up maybe I think, and here is another one. I can quite easily pull that out. I'll show you by twisting it that there's no roots attached to that. That's just sticking in the ground. Now, just there. And it was a completely different area. I found stripped bark branches maybe a couple of weeks ago. And we're seeing that here. This is all stripped. Tucked behind and into this tree. That is quite strange. This one here, a bigger branch. Again, it's not in situ. All just tucked behind this larger beech tree. As a look at that, I'm just scanning anywhere else that I might see other signs. This is quite a strange find. You could say that this birch tree has fallen this way. Well, what I'll show you now is there is no roots. That is not a fall. There's no roots that this birch tree has fallen from. Right, so we'll follow the birch tree. It goes straight between those 2 trees. And between that tree, now it could have fallen, and this branch here is snapped off. But when we get closer, we can see that this branch is thinner to this branch. of which is stuck between those two beech branches. That's the tip. That's the tip of there. It's a strange find just to the left of it. This is another beech, and we've got branches upside down, stuck in the ground, leaning up here, and another one just there. Peculiar. A great spot this is. That's why I kind of came back. I've not found these last week. Here's another one. I'm going to go down on my knees just to show you this. So we've got this branch and it curves up into this tree. That, you know, nothing peculiar about that until we look here. This is one branch. It's broken. It's got a break there. Up. Another break. A twist. A great find that there is. That to me is a fascinating find. There's just no way that would happen in nature. You can clearly see how that's been twisted over this branch. And I told you, it comes in groups. Once you find one find, you've got to scan the area everywhere, because you'll find something else, and then something else, and then something else, one after the other. That just fell, just so it hooked onto there, eh? And this one, look at this. There's nothing to it. It's just balancing there. As we go, it goes under this, over this, and then this one behind is just so balanced and pinned. There's the end of it. And just here there's another dangly piece. There's one after the other after the other. pretty sure that the X I found last week is not far away. I think I might come on to the back end of it. Okay, I'm hearing tree breaks behind me. Could just be the wind. Could be. Right, so we're just still heading across this ridge. Back in the kind of same direction as last week. I think I'm a bit further up the bank than last week. And you know, oh, that's something there that absolutely catches the eye. That big A. Right, before I carry on, I'm going to just go and investigate that. So, that branch comes down behind this birch tree, sorry, and heads there. And over the top of that, it's just that resting up in the air. An A. And I keep seeing these triangles. Somebody posted a few weeks ago, maybe a few weeks ago, maybe last week, these massive structures they were finding in America. And I see it always makes this A. I know you could say, well, that's just how things form when they fall. That they produce an A, but that middle section it's always left out to produce this triangle. I see triangles in most of the structures, whether they've been platted, whether they're small. A big arch there. You just see this A everywhere I look. Well, not on everyone, but the majority of the structures at sea, there's an A. I think that X was down there. I'm not going to go back there, but I'm 90% sure it's just down there in that thicker area. I want to kind of keep it to this high ground today. I mean, I could walk down there now and show you that X is down there. Just so everybody thinks I'm not bullshitting, kind of thing. I'm a pretty good tracker, like I say. I know my environment pretty well. Put me in the city and I couldn't tell you where anything is. But if you put me in the forest, I pretty much guide myself with my eyes closed at times. Right, I'm going to go down there just to see if that X is there. Like I say, I'm pretty sure it is. If not, then I am truly sorry. I am wrong. But then I've got to head back up this hill onto this ridge. That's really where I want to be. It's there. There you go. See? I'm very bloody good. There it is. There's that X. There's the X. I'll go show you in a minute. But as I came past that X, there was a couple of, well, there was at least one upright pressed into the ground. It wasn't that. It's further through. It was over there. There's this one. Just leaning up there. I came down here last week. Maybe it was a bit further. I could have sworn it was here. There it is. Right, okay, I'm good. There it is, I've just seen it. It's there. Pretty sure that's the same one. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. The upright from last week. Wanted to just prove that I found that X again. Yeah. There was actually a slight structure I saw last week too that I kind of passed with the camera. It was just sitting back at home, I noticed. There you go. Just come back in from the opposite direction of this X. There it is. There it is. Oh, it's just over there, look. And I really, this is why I passed it with the camera. I didn't think it was too much to study. Another A. Another triangle. Some tough going sometimes in the forest. It's near the end of the day, the sun is starting to drop too. Another strange one. So I'm kind of, I've still got probably maybe 2 hours until I'm out of the forest heading in this direction. This was the end of the trip last week, and now I'm kind of starting at the end. I've just had a couple of hours in where my previous video was, but like I say, I've got probably 2 hours, maybe an hour 40 to actually get out of the forest from here. But I really wanted to come back to this area. We've got an X there, and that's what I'm gonna go and have a look at, because that, see how that's on there, on this bit of a Y here. That's not in situ. I can pull that out very easily. This one, it's just been stuck into that part of a stump, and it forms that large X. bloody awesome X, that one. I'm very much liking that. Yeah, so there's that X again. Strange find, strange find. It's one after the other. This ridge is one of the best areas I think I've explored for finds. It seems to be one after the other. Even that there, that's just next to that X. Ooh. Every one of those branches that are leaning up into this tree, every single one is not, you know, they, even this one here, every single one. Just leaning up that tree. None of them have snapped from their roots. They're just there, like they've been carried and put there. That fascinates me again. Amazing. Let's keep heading this way. We've come to a bit of an old stony area. I love these areas where it's stone, moss. Very enchanting. Very enchanting. You know, I'm still not even on top of the ridge, and that's something, maybe I'll come back next week to have a look on top of the ridge. Right now, following this, that mid-slope, seems to be having a few good finds. Let me check this stump. If there's any pine cones. Oh, that's a great big fungi, that one. The size of that. Beautiful. Looked like a hide or blind. Most of these branches, they're just, you know, upside down, leaning into this beech tree. Try and show you from an opposite side. Oh, just leaning up this beech tree. Big one there. Fascinating. Again, you know, coming up to another bit of a brook or a stream or a creek or a crick. I'm not sure, a creek or creek. People say it as in the Americas. I wanted to have a little look at these this big ass stump here. There's nothing on top of it though that screams at me. Okay, so we're going to head across here and we're going to keep heading that direction. And I've got to pick up my paces a little bit because it will soon be dark. And I don't really want to be out here on my own in the dark. Yeah. I've got some serious balls to be doing that. Oh, look what I've just found. And I've just, you know, this is what I'm saying. There's no way I'm going to guide myself through there, fake this, fake all of this, guide myself through all of that, and suddenly hit this. I wasn't even looking for this. Big branch, stuck in the ground, clearly snapped, and there's another one there. Two. Upside down, just stuck in the ground. You can see on this one where the bark finishes here, and this has been stripped of its bark to the end. There are no cut marks. This is a break. So yeah, it's been again a very rewarding day. Just, you know, walking around, finding finds, a few prints. You know, and what I wanted to say is, you know, again, some people say, well, how come you've never seen a sasquatch or a wild man? And well, the truth is, I have seen one. And that, you know, you could only take my word for it. I have seen one. It ran past me, probably about no more than 30 feet away from me. Now, on my videos, as you've seen, I show you a lot of boar activity, where they've been digging out the ground, boar prints, a lot of activity from boar. But I've never seen a boar. In all hundreds of hours I spend in the forest, I have never seen a wild boar. I've heard a wild boar, and I've smelt wild boar. Actually today, earlier, I mentioned smelling wild boar. I can smell them. Never seen one. Never seen one. So, just to say, you know, oh well, they don't exist because you don't see them. Well, I've seen one of them, but I haven't seen any wild boar, and we know wild boar are living in the forest. There's signs everywhere, and there's also signs of wild men everywhere. But you've just got to know what you're looking for. Again, just heading out now. Another branch stuck in the ground. This area has wielded so many branches like that stuck in the ground, and I have never come across that before until I've hit this area, and it's one after the other after the other. And I just stumble upon these finds. There's no planning of this. I just get a bit of a feeling, head one direction, and see what I find.